Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today, looking at poster design trends for 2025. And we're pulling insights from a specific source, the team over at WBMS Web Developers, based on what they're seeing on their platforms.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating area right now.
It really is. Now, I know when you hear poster, you might think, something tacked on a wall.
Right, the traditional idea.
But for 2025, it's really not the whole picture. We're talking dynamic digital assets. They're everywhere.
Absolutely. Websites, apps.
Social feeds, definitely. Even showing up as key visuals and videos.
They're crucial pieces of digital communication.
So our mission here really is to figure out what makes these digital posters work, in a world just flooded with visuals.
And why these design shifts actually matter for you, the listener.
Exactly. Whether you're marketing something, creating content, or just trying to get a message seen, having a great visual is key. It has to cut through.
Instantly. That's the challenge.
That's the core thing these trends are tackling, isn't it? Speed. You've got milliseconds, maybe, 3 seconds tops?
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
To grab attention in that endless scroll.
So the big question is, what visual tools are designers using right now to make that happen? And what can we learn from them?
Well, what's really interesting, you see, is how design isn't just about aesthetics anymore. It's fundamentally about performance.
Performance in the digital space.
Exactly. It has to stop the scroll.
Yeah.
And deliver info almost instantly.
Right. Okay, so the very first tool our source flags for this challenge, typography.
Ah, yes. Big one.
They say it's moving away from that, super minimalist style we saw for a while.
Definitely.
And getting seriously bold, personal even. Think big expressive fonts that aren't just text. They are part of the statement.
Like the source puts it, shouting your message, but with style. I like that.
Me too. It captures it perfectly.
And the why behind it is pretty clear. It's sheer necessity.
To stand out.
Yeah. In those incredibly crowded digital spaces, if your text is too quiet, too timid,
just gets lost.
Vanishes.
Completely.
And the source notes a specific technique they see working well. Combining those large, impactful serif fonts.
The ones with the little feet, like in books.
Exactly those. Combining them with clean, modern sans serif text, it creates balance but also real impact.
Okay, so contrast for attention.
Right. Their team apparently uses this mix specifically for things like digital ads and Instagram stories because it has that immediate scroll-stopping power.
Serif and sans serif working together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense when you need attention now. Okay, so you stop them with type. What else helps visuals pop?
Well, the next thing our source points to is color, specifically the return of really vibrant gradients and color blends.
Gradients are back.
Yeah.
But maybe different this time.
Yeah, these aren't your subtle early 2000s fades. Think fluid, often neon-inspired transitions.
No.
And the source emphasizes they're frequently animated, especially for digital use.
So movement within the color itself.
Exactly. And the point isn't just a pretty background. It's about using what they call emotional color blends.
Emotional color blends? To do what?
To instantly set a mood, convey energy, basically build memorability fast.
Okay. So using color, less like decoration and more like a shortcut to a feeling about the brand or the message.
You got it. That feeling first approach. The source even mentions how businesses are using editable poster templates.
Like pre-made designs?
Sort of, yeah. Templates with these vibrant gradient backgrounds built in. They mention finding them on platforms like websitebuilder.marketshoppy.com.
Right.
And it sounds like a really accessible way for people to tap into that energy, even without deep design skills.
Making it easy to get that vibrant emotional look. That's smart.
Precisely. Leveraging tools.
Yeah.
Now, picking up on that animation point you mentioned, the next trend feels like a direct result of where we see this stuff. Poster is designed specifically for motion.
Right. Because a static image just feels, flat sometimes, especially in a feed full of videos and reels.
Totally. The source highlights how these posters are increasingly being made for formats like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts.
WhatsApp statuses too, they mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. And the core idea is simple, but really effective. Adding movement, even if it's subtle.
Just a little bit of animation.
Just a little bit, yeah. It dramatically increases engagement.
Yeah.
People's eyes are just drawn to it.
That makes sense. Our eyes evolved to notice movement.
And the source shows how companies are actually doing this. They talk about motion poster templates being available, for instance, inside the WBMS Web Developers app.
Ah, so tools integrated into apps.
Right. Specifically built to be mobile first. And they're being used for everything. Quick promos, sales announcements.
Launching new products, maybe?
Absolutely. It's about making sure the visual is inherently dynamic right from the start.
Posters that move. It definitely tracks with how we all scroll now. Okay, what else is adding that visual punch? The source talks about adding depth.
Yeah, depth, layered 3D elements, creating a sense of visual depth. They have this great line for it. Depth is the new flat.
Huh. I like that. So moving away from completely flat design.
Seems like it, for 2025 posters anyway. It involves using things like 3D shapes, playing with shadow, overlapping layers.
To create more visual interest. Make it feel less flat.
Exactly. Give it a sense of reality, almost. This style works really well for certain brands, especially tech companies or anyone showing off products.
Because it makes the product feel more tangible.
Yeah, more tangible, more sophisticated. The source notes, it's often done using tools like Adobe and specific workflows designed to build that depth. It gives posters a modern, maybe even futuristic feel.
Okay, so we're going from flat images to loud type, vibrant colors, motion, and now actual depth.
Wow.
It's like posters are becoming these little multi-sensory things in the feed.
Pretty much, it's a lot of adding.
Right. So let's pivot. What about taking something away? The source mentions text.
Ah, yes. Minimal text, maximum visual storytelling.
Why minimal text?
It goes back to that speed thing we talked about.
The 3-second rule again.
Exactly. You need to communicate your core idea in 3 seconds or less before they scroll on by. So using less text isn't just style. It's essential for quick understanding. Clear visual hierarchy, minimal reading.
Minimal text feels tough for some messages, though. How do you tell a decent story with hardly any words?
That's the real skill, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the source explains they tackle it by making the visuals work harder.
How so?
Heavy use of really clear icons, strong illustrations, bold imagery, things that carry the meaning without needing much or any reading. They even mention a rule they use for campaigns, the one message, one visual rule.
One message, one visual. Okay, that forces clarity.
It really does. They see this approach being super effective for things like email marketing graphics or promo mailers, where you need that instant hit.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
Okay. So you got bold type, motion depth, minimal text. What else is shaping design decisions?
Well, the final big trend the source brings up is really practical, but absolutely critical today. It's about social-first poster formats, meaning the need for a single design concept to be super adaptable instantly.
Ah, right. Because you design something,
Yeah.
and then you need it square for the Instagrid,
And vertical for a reel or a story.
and horizontal for a YouTube thumbnail.
And maybe even something for a WhatsApp status update. It's got to work everywhere.
That sounds like a massive headache if you have to manually resize and redesign it each time.
It absolutely is a huge time sink, and it makes keeping things consistent really hard.
So what's the solution?
Well, the source points to tools and platforms they use, like, again, websitebuilder.marketshoppy.com and their WBMS Web Developers app.
Okay.
These platforms apparently let them take one core design and then automatically generate all those different platform-optimized sizes, like with one click.
Oh, wow. That's a game changer for workflow.
Huge. Saves massive amounts of time and crucially ensures the brand looks consistent and, correct everywhere it shows up.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together,
Yeah.
it sounds like 2025 poster design, based on these insights anyway, is this really interesting mix. Well, it's like cranking up the creative volume, loud fonts, emotional colors, 3D movement, all that excitement. But at the same time, being incredibly focused on efficiency, adaptability, and sheer performance across all these different digital platforms.
Right. It's not enough for it to just look good anymore.
No, it has to work hard for you.
Yeah,
In the
right.
feed, in the app, wherever it is.
And if we zoom out a bit, connect this to the bigger picture,
Mm.
it leaves us with something pretty significant to think about.
Yeah.
Building on everything we've just discussed, the speed, the minimal text, maximizing visuals to cut through noise.
Okay.
The source material makes it pretty clear that visual communication is accelerating. It's pushing towards needing to land a message in, under 3
It
seconds?
seems like it. That's the benchmark.
So here's a question for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. If visual communication is becoming so reliant on that instant impact, on motion, on minimal text just to get noticed,
Yeah.
what does this actually mean for trying to communicate really complex or nuanced ideas in this format? What might we gain maybe in reach and speed by boiling everything down to 3 seconds?
But also, what might we potentially lose? In depth, maybe.
And
Complexity.
what's gained and what might be lost when the message has to land that fast. Something to think about.